Hello everyone, Ceri the Crafter here, that's C-E-R-I the Crafter, and we're on to day 7 of the hashtag Mixed Media March 25, and that takes us to this page. Now, I've been sort of kind of secretive about what this page was going to be because I needed to do this page basically after it did that one, but I couldn't because what I ordered didn't arrive. However, I'm sure some of you have guessed. You cannot tell me if there's a clock and a white rabbit you haven't guessed it. Yeah, you're right. Alice in Wonderland is going to be here. The reason I did Alice in Wonderland, this is a rice paper, by the way. I painted white on the back so make sure that I kept the vibrancy, because with rice paper, if you put it over something, sometimes it dissolves into the background. I want to keep this pristine. Okay, before I start working on everything, I did mention I had stencils from Becky Bocone. These stencils. Let's see if I can find something dark to put them against. Just hold that there. So these stencils, it's a set of 4. And the moment I received these, I went, Alice in Wonderland. And don't ask me why, it just happened to pop into my little brain that was exactly what this needed to be. So if you go to the bottom of my description box, there's a link there that says Ceri Griffiths Designs on PM Artist Studio. Click that, go through, it'll take you to their website. If you put Becky's name in or you put key orifices, it will come up. So anyway, that's I'm excited about that. Very excited about that. So that's where the inspiration of this whole thing came from, was from that stencil. Let me move that to one side. So I need to do a bit of prep work before we start working in there. There's going to be a bit of stuff to do, but I've sort of prepped stuff already. Okay, I needed certain coloured papers. So this morning I just gel printed a piece of this presentation paper, which is just slightly heavier than copier paper, 1 in gold. I also did 1 in red, bit of gunge on there. I did 1 in green, and I did 1 in purple that I then took Fleur de Lis, a 5x7 stencil by Rhonda Donar. Again, Rhonda's designs at PM Artist Studio. She's a fellow designer of mine. I wanted to make wallpaper, so that's where that came up. Now, I didn't do this on screen with you because you've seen me in previous days sponging through a design, and I'm going to be doing it a couple of times here as well. So I thought, let's just cut a corner here so you don't get stuck with me doing all this. So that one's to one side. Let's put Alice up there as well. Let's do those 2 last, right. The next thing I need to do is, I have made this purely because I want to punch out some red hearts. Now I'm hoping this will punch nicely and I don't have to put card the other side of it. Oh, apparently it does. And apparently they fly onto my floor. So let's just turn it up the other way. So I'm not being completely true to... Why can't I get this to work? It's a very old punch. I'm not going to be completely true to Alice in Wonderland. I'm going to hint at Alice in Wonderland, and it'll become more apparent as I go along. Right, that's that size. I'm going to do some smaller ones because I don't know which size I actually need, to be honest. And you know what? I can always put hearts into a small container. There you go, and that'll go into my scraps box as well, but that gives me the elements I'm looking for as far as the little red hearts go. I can't pick this up. Come on, right, so that's that. So let's put those out of the way. So I'm feeling this is going to be kind of symbolic or referencing Alice in Wonderland without actually saying the word Alice or Wonderland. My thought for the page is, and I'm going to roughly map it out for you before we do it. I'm going to have Alice with wallpaper, and this is going to be torn. And then this side is meant to be a green garden, and there's going to be torn there. And then this piece is going down the middle. So This is Alice. The bit down the middle here will represent the rabbit hole she went down. I'm going to stencil the keys holes onto here because when she went down the rabbit hole, one of the things was she used a key to go through to another area. And then this, I'm going to put white and then red roses on with leaves. And this will be the Queen of Hearts, which is where the little hearts come in, painting the flowers red. It'll all come together, but that's just so you know where I'm at with this. So first of all, I want to start by getting some sponging of things done because I need things to be dry. Because if they're not dry, guess what? I can't work with them. Right, is there an up, is there a down? There isn't, but I kind of like this area better. Now, I'm going to use one of my own stencils for this. Actually, I'm going to use a couple of my own stencils. This is rose strips, and I want it because I want that set of leaves. And then I'm going to come into my bed of roses, which is this one, and that's how I'm going to make the roses. Now I'm going to do almost a whole sheet of these roses and tear out the most appropriate part of it. It's just going to be the way it's going to work out because I know that if I choose to do one particular area, that area is probably not going to work out. I need you to stop being curling. This is the trouble when you use copier paper or presentation paper. It tends to curl up on you a bit. Now, first part of the process is going to be get some leaves down because the leaves are always going to be in the background. I have just pulled in some, this is sap green. I need them in the background. I don't need them to be dominant, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to bring a bit of this, just a little bit. I don't need a lot of you. I would like some of you though. Are you going to come out of here or not? There you go. So I'm literally, as I said, I'm not even bothered whether I get the whole of the leaf. I just don't want to have just pure and simple green in the background. I want to hint at there is something else going on in this. As I said, I'm going to work the whole page so that I've got something, and even then, when I've finished, the scraps will have stuff on them as well, because you never know what I'm going to use them for later on. I might do a masterboard, I might do a card front for something or out of spare bits later on. I mean, with 31 projects to do in a month, I've kind of got to come up with some stuff, obviously. So, yeah, it was interesting. As soon as I put the white rabbit on there yesterday, I went, people are going to know exactly what I'm up to now. But that's fine. I mean, as I said, it wasn't really a secret. It was just, I didn't want to spoil the secret, should we say. I think there's a little bit more up there, maybe 3 of them. Basically just using up this little last bit of paint. Right, now, while that's drying, let's move it. I'm going to put this to one side. While that's drying, because I don't want to put white on top of this, because if I put white on top of that, what am I going to have? I'm going to have pale green flowers instead of having white flowers. So he's going to sit up there. I'll put the rose one up there as well. Now, when it comes to the keyholes, or the orifices, as Becky called them, I want to have the more regimented ones. Where are they? These ones. Pure because I do. I'm going to keep these to one side. I will definitely be using those in the future for something else. And I want to come in with these, and I want to sponge these black because I want the drama of the black. So again, using the same process now. I want these to be clean and sharp. So what I've done is I've tapped on a lot and tapped off a lot, because if I do that, I am more likely to get a crisp edge. than if I have a big bundle of paint on my sponge and then I dab it on. It's going to have a tendency to go under. Now, if they're not perfectly sharp, which if I really wanted them really, really sharp, I would have done them on a gel plate. But I'm trying to avoid doing the gel plate too often because I want to make sure that those without a gel plate could do things. Now, as far as which is the element that was a gel plate on this project, these backgrounds were. So I actually used the gel plate this morning, very early this morning I may add, to come in and create those papers. So it's just a case of braying out a layer of paint and then just picking it up with the paper. So, as I said, I'm looking for these to represent keyholes. If they're not perfect, I'm not going to be upset by it. I'd like them to be relatively sharp. I mean, as I said, I could have come in and stenciled them in black onto a gel plate and then taken it from there. Now, I don't foresee me having too much of this on the background. So I think that will be enough. Come on, up you come. There you go. See, that's sharp enough for me. As I said, I'm going to be tearing it anyway. That's another piece can go to one side. Let's get a bit of cloth to take this off. Because again, I don't want black, because if I got black on something, I'm going to end up with a big problem in that all of my white's going to turn grey. Right, there you go. So that's another section of it done. Let's get that out of the way. Now, I struggled finding a red that was a good red. The reds I've got felt a bit too orange for my liking, so this was as close as I could get. And I don't mind if slight parts of it maybe turn pinkish, but that's not my intent to have pink anything. Now, there's going to be no good or bad place to put these roses down. So, but what I am going to do is this rose here is probably going to be one of the feature roses. So I'm going to come in with a little bit of white. Now, if I remember Alice in Wonderland correctly, the roses were originally white and they were being painted red because the Queen wanted them red. I think it went something like painting the roses red, not aquamarine or yellow or green or something. Painting the roses red, painting the roses red, not aquamarine or yellow or green, painting the roses red instead. Something like that. It's been a very, 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 very long time since did I read it? I don't know whether I read it or not. I've certainly seen several films of it. I know the Johnny Depp one was a little darker than the other versions I'd seen, but that's fine. I have no problem watching Johnny Depp. Didn't really like Johnny Depp in Wonka, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I liked the original of that. But personal choice again. So just going to come in. So I'm making all of the roses white first of all. I'm going to have to get some more paint on the go, aren't I? I'm trying not to move that. I should really have taped it down or clipped it or something, because I'd rather it didn't move around. But if it does, again, no stress. Now I know that it's predominantly this side is the one that's going to be used. And I want some of these roses to be whiter than the other ones. Actually, I might only do half of this, because otherwise you're going to be sat there watching me do this for another 10 or 15 minutes going, Ceri, get on with it. I know you wouldn't. I know, many of you have said you'd watch, no matter how long a video I did, you'd watch. Well, I hope you'd fast forward anything you found boring, that's all I can say. Right. Let's lift that up. Right, so I've got that down there. I think I want to come in with a little bit more white. As I said, some of them will stay white. They're not all going to be turned red. So I want a few of these to be white enough to stand alone. And just by adding another coating of paint over the top is all it'll take, because when you sponge paint on, it really does dry quite quickly. And then after this, it's pretty much just down to assembly, which I'm hoping is going to go reasonably quickly. It would be nice for once if I had a video that's not over an hour long. Although they're enjoyable, I'm enjoying them, you're enjoying them. However, I do feel a bit... It's hard doing that long of a videos, 31 days of the month. Let's just put it that way. So, right now I don't really want to hit this with a hairdryer. Now I can relocate that, but as you can see, some are whiter. I didn't want to hit it with a hairdryer, but I'm going to have to, because if I now sponge red onto this, guess what? It's going to turn pink. So I'm going to pause you for 2 seconds, guys, while I get on with that. Right, here we are. They're dry enough for me to work on. I remembered the words. It was, we're painting the roses red, not yellow or green or aquamarine. We're painting the roses red instead. Why do I remember things like that? I mean, I haven't heard that song for probably 40 years. But I can't tell you what I had for breakfast a couple of hours ago. How scary is that one? Right, I want to relocate these so that they're as close as I can get to where they were before, because that's kind of important. Now, there's a little bit of white around them. It won't matter as much because it would make sense, because the Queen of Hearts, is it knaves? Were they the knaves that were painting it? Are in the process of painting them. So just going to dab the red on, dab the red off, and come in. And I'm hoping it won't lift any of the white, because I want red roses. Also, I wanted a different colour red than the hearts that I made. So the hearts that I made, I put like a shimmer over the top of them, a luster, just to make them a little shiny and a little pink. Oh, trying to get my hands so I don't put fingerprints where I don't need them. I do love this stencil of mine. This is called Bed of Roses, by the way. I think if you go to Pierre Marty's studio and you put my name and roses in, there's quite a few things from me about roses. I like roses. There may be more rose designs in the future. I've not yet designed a rose stamp, and I'm considering doing that. Right, this is the last red rose here. I might do that. Will I do that one? Yes, I might do that one as well. And I know you're probably sick of me saying, but we've got another beautiful day in Wales. Freezing cold though, but another beautiful day in Wales. I considered doing some gardening this afternoon. That's how bright it is out there, but I don't think I'm going to now. Right. See, that's cool. Cool? What sort of word is that? I don't mind that the edge just gives that bit of illumination. That's what I was looking for. Right, that's there. This goes to one side. So I've gone ahead now and I've laid this all out, because you don't need to see me struggling through that every day. Right, all of the elements I believe are dry enough for me to use. I've also set up over here an area where I've got some magazine page so I can glue on top of it. So the first thing to do is to decide if the design is going all the way to the edges of this. Now, it is a rectangle, so it meets all the criteria. If I was to put her down to the bottom there, yes, I think we're going to, right? You can go to one side, young lady. So first things first is I need to get this sorted. Now, I'm going to tear with this away from me so that I don't have any white edges. See, I've got white edges. I don't want white edges on the piece that's going to be glued down. And I think I can probably get away with quite a chunk of that. That's almost the bottom, that's fine. Just bring her in for reference. Yes, because the wallpaper will go over that. Okay, right, I'm just going to put some glue stick on the back of this one. And we're going to stick that down. Now, because it's paper to paper, again, I'm using a glue stick. I'm just going to use my calyx tool just to smooth it down. I could have used anything to smooth this down. That just happened to be within reach. Okay, that's that bit down. These pieces go into my scrap box. Now, which piece is more important now? I think this is probably the more important piece. I'd quite like this rose to be visible. So again, I'm going to tear, so I'm pulling this side towards me so I don't have any white. That kind of works for me. I now need to work out where to cut this off. So around about there, I'm going to have to get a guillotine involved. Right, it'll bridge over the top of this. Don't worry, we're not about to injure my piece. It's not actually touching it. So I want to come in and make sure that is straight. Where's my little tear gone? There it is, right. Straight edge at the bottom. Which I quite like that to be over a little bit more. Right, so this can go to one side. Oh, there's a belly band in the making. Right, let's just put that down by there. Right, is that too far over? Actually, no, that would work for me. I think I'd like just to shave off the top of that. Let's pull in my little one instead. I could always cut it afterwards, but I'm okay with just giving a little bit of a chop there. So again, I'm going over to the side so I can actually put glue on this. I'm going to have to ask Becky actually where she got the inspiration for that stencil design from. I think it would be absolutely hysterical if she says actually it is from Alice in Wonderland. That would just make me laugh. Okay, I'm loving where that's going. I will trim the edge off afterwards, obviously. Just make sure it's not sticking to my work surface. Now we do have another piece to go on here. Remember we had this trim on the other side, which you can probably just see in the top corner. I did manage to make this one the same as that one by putting the dots on. So I'm going to glue this on now because I know what I'm like. I am going to completely and utterly forget to glue this down, and then I'll be looking at the pictures when I'm editing and going, oh shoot. Right, please be working for me today. Thank you. I could put glue stick down this, but I don't really want glue strings hanging around the sides. Right, put that down there. Right, the dots are to the outside. And I need to slide it just so that that's covered. Right. Okay, I'm happy now that I've got that out. I was worried that I was going to forget. I keep trying to put it in a place where I'll remember where it is, and then I keep moving it around, and then I'm like, where did I put that to? A bit like the little imp, this little one here. I kept losing it. Okay, this, by the way, is just keeping the paper held in place for me. So again, those can go into the scrap box. Okay, I'm liking where this is going. This is doing what I wanted it to do. Now this one, we'll have to go up to the edge of there. And pretty much from there. Right, again, I'm pulling this side towards me, so I'm leaving the white behind. Now this one may take a couple of tears for me to make it right. Unless I'm actually, I think I'd just like to take a little bit more off there. Lift that up so I know where the edge is. Right, I think I'm going to get this one glued down. And then I feel that it's just down to little extra pieces then. And I've got some little extra pieces just to play in with the theme again. Let's see if I lift this up and get this to that join, but not over the join. I don't want it binding up that join. It'll be okay. So up to the top. It is up to the top. Okay, that's exactly what I wanted. Right, this again goes into the scrap box. So now it may make more sense. So we'll have Alice here. And Alice, if I'm telling a story about this, Alice, when she goes down here, will have just seen the rabbit saying he's late, he's late. This is her in the real world. This is the rabbit hole that she goes down. Oh, there's a dot there. A rabbit hole that she goes down. These are the keys for the doorway she has to go through into another area. And this is painting the roses red, which is another hint. Now, I do have a couple of little things that I'm going to put on here. I made up the little eat me, drink me signs, little tags, just wrote them with my handwriting. I did look at them online to see how they were originally done. They were originally just handwriting. We also have, excuse me, leaning in, I also have my hearts, which I can dot around here as well. And I'm wondering whether it's time to put Alice on, actually. Is there anything else? I know that I'm going to be putting my number down here, and I know that I'm going to have to be putting my actually, I know I need to do. I'm going to pause so I can pick this up, turn it around and cut this, because I do not want this hanging down below because it will throw off my alignment of where Alice gets put down. So bear with me, back in two. Right, that's all nicely trimmed. If you ever trim when the glue is wet, always make sure you repress that down again, just to make sure, because sometimes cutting with the scissors will actually pull the pieces apart. So I'm going to get Alice involved now. Cross fingers, because this is rice paper. I must admit, I've been a little nervous about putting Alice on here because I would normally have used matte medium because it's onto paint. However, I'm using glue stick, which isn't a problem normally, but I'm just a bit wary that it might become one. Right. I am going to have to do, I'm really pleased with the positioning of that. I have to do a little bit of trim along there, but that's actually okay. That looks wonderful. Now, I did play around with loads of different ideas, guys. I was going to have a mouse in the teacup. I was going to have a top hat in this for the Mad Hatter's Tea Party. There was just so many elements. I was going to have a caterpillar. There's so many elements I could take from. But you know what? This worked for me. Right. I'm going to add my little elements on with whatever this stuff is, art glittered glue. And I'm going to put these on first. And I want them down here because they're at the bottom of the rabbit hole. So this is Eat Me. Press. I don't know which one made a shrink and which one made a grow. I can't remember which order they were in, but and it doesn't matter anyway. I'm sure the Lewis Carroll police are not going to come after me. Lewis Carroll was the author, I believe, unless I've got that completely wrong, which I don't think I have. Now, I'm not trying to conceal this drawing. If it gets concealed, it gets concealed. If it doesn't, it doesn't. See, now I like the way... Can you see what I was struggling with? I wanted to make them complement each other. Let's move that over a bit. So I knew there was going to be red because of that. I knew there was going to be a clock because I knew there was a clock going to be here. I knew there had to be green because there was green here. I knew there had to be purple because... Do you see what I mean? So that's why I was trying design-wise to work out where things were going to be. Right, so I'm going to dot a few of these hearts around. And then I'm going to come in and trim that little bit of an edge off. Then I'm going to stick down the number and sign it, and then I'll do a close-up for you so we can all take a look. So without actually saying Alice in Wonderland, this screams Alice to me. I mean, granted, that image alone was like that there. A white rabbit, the moment I hear white rabbit, I think of Alice in Wonderland. So, although there was once, wasn't there a 6-foot white rabbit in a movie? I think was it supposed to be an imaginative? Was it Cary Grant? God, I'm showing my years now. Right, I don't want any more than 3 of those because they'll just start dominating the page. I do want a couple of these at the top. I did actually look at putting a crown into this as well. Obviously, I didn't do that. It just felt a bit. It just didn't feel right. Now, I must admit, I haven't actually thought about what I'm doing for tomorrow. I've got a vague idea, but I can't say. I think I want one in there. I can't say I know for definite what I'm planning. I'm trying to do as many different skills as I can because I know that there's a lot of newbies watching this because it's caught everyone's attention. Is that enough? I'm trying to look at this. I feel I need one in there. Because it's caught a lot of people's attention. And I know there's quite a few newbies, so if I can share as many different skills as I can, then, you know, that's helpful to somebody. Okay, does this need anything else? I don't think so. I'd love to have had a pair of those ears and stuck the ears on there. I mean, I've actually got another one of these images, but would that be too freaky putting bunny ears on here? Yes, it would be. Okay, I think that works. I reckon that's a reasonably simple spread to do. Just making sure everything's pressed down. But there are so many elements I could have put in that I didn't want to overpower it, and you can now see where this was all. I'm so excited I can hardly sleep. It was all about bedtime because there's bedtime and storytelling. That's where the page came in, and and then the mushrooms here is where that wise caterpillar was that was smoking. I did toy with the idea of putting a Cheshire cat smile in here, some with a pair of eyes. Just was too much. So give me 2 seconds, guys. I'm going to trim this, put the number on, sign it, and I'll come back. We'll take a close-up look. So here you go, guys. You can see now why I was trying to tie them together. I think they work perfectly as a spread, and independently, I love them as they are. I like the complexity and busyness of this with the symbolism and the simple lines of this one, just showing that things work. Not sure why I'm a little bothered by that dot in the middle. I don't know whether I want to stick something over it, or is it okay? Actually, you know what? We'll just say that's the bottom of the rabbit hole. There you go, a circle. Is there a circle on the stencil? I guess there is a circle on the stencil. I didn't notice that. Okay, so that's the bottom of the rabbit hole. There you go, that's fine with me. I'm pleased with how that turned out. I'm Ceri the Crafter. That's Ceri the Crafter. Until tomorrow. Goodbye now.